Hey guys, this is Daniel from DLT Reviews, and is the Moto G 2013 still worth it? Well, let's find out. So let's start out on the hardware. It has a 4.5-inch display, and that might seem a little small for these days standards, but back in the day in 2013, it was considered a pretty large phone, or medium-sized phone, and this was bigger than the iPhone. Well, it was. And it has some nice chromed accented power button and volume rockers, has a nice curved back, and it also has the classic Motorola dimple to rest your fingers on when you're using the device, and it basically has that classic Motorola look that looks and feels very premium in the hand, even though it is made out of plastic. The back cover is also removable, although it isn't as easy as the LG G3 or Samsung devices like the S5 and Note 4. The back feels pretty flimsy when you take it off, but when it's on the device, it is very sturdy. And the battery is non-removable. It says right there on the battery that it is not user replaceable, but of course if you take it apart, it will you can take the battery out. There's also customizable shells like a flip cover or different colored shells, and also a protector. The device is pretty snappy with that Snapdragon 400, and it's just enough for this device. It doesn't really have a big skin on it, and I have a Google Now launcher on it right now, and it performs fine. Just like any other flagship smartphone out there today, you really don't need good specs for a good smartphone. It's the overall performance that counts, and this has really good performance. The worst downside on this phone is actually the camera. The camera is a 5 megapixel sensor with the LED flash, but it really doesn't perform well in very good lighted situations or non-dark situations. It's just a really bad camera, and they had to cut corners on this, so I do understand this phone is pretty cheap, but still the camera isn't as good as any other smartphone right now, but I bet it's still better than a flip phone. The interface is pretty easy and simple to use, and it's just like any other modern Motorola device. Now let's get into some good parts of this phone. The display is awesome. Although it is 720p, I could barely see the pixels, and it's just a very clear screen, and I could really compare this to any other smartphone out there. I just really like the screen and how it produces the colors and stuff like that. So this is just a really nice screen to watch movies, YouTube, and stuff like that on, if you have enough storage, of course. I have the 8GB model here. So let's get back to the question. Is the Moto G 2013 still worth it? Well, if you have a Moto G 2013 and it runs on 4G LTE, well, you don't really have any reason to upgrade unless you really want that bigger 5-inch screen, or you really want front-facing speakers, or you really want a little better camera. And the build quality on the new Moto G, I've heard, isn't as good as the older version, and this build quality is awesome. So yeah, if you have any of those reasons, then I'd say you should upgrade. And if you have the 3G model, you should definitely upgrade, because the new Moto G is still $174. But if none of those interests you, then you're fine with your Moto G, because it's a really good smartphone, and they didn't really improve any of the specs on the new Moto G. It just has a bigger screen, a better camera, front-facing speakers, and that's it. Really, the performance is still the same, and I'd say this is still a very great smartphone to buy if you are on a budget. You could probably find a second-hand device very cheap, or you could probably find this on like Amazon and get it for a discounted price because there is a new model. Anyways guys, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.